Judge Judy. From courtroom pioneer to streaming powerhouse, the untold story for over 2 decades. Judge Judy wasn't just a television show, it was a phenomenon. Judge Judy Sheindlin revolutionized courtroom programming, captivating millions. With her no-nonsense attitude, sharp wit, and unmistakable authority. But after 25 years of dominating daytime TV, she suddenly disappeared from the mainstream spotlight. What happened? Contrary to popular belief, Judge Judy didn't retire. She reinvented herself and launched a brand new venture that's just as groundbreaking as her original show. But to understand where she is now, we need to go back to the very beginning, the making of a legal icon in 1965. Judy Sheindlin passed the New York State Bar exam and began her career as a corporate attorney for a cosmetics company. But the world of corporate law didn't satisfy her after just 2 years. She walked away, choosing instead to focus on raising her 2 children, Jamie and Adam. By 1972, Judy was ready to return to the workforce, but this time, she wanted a job with meaning. So on a friend's recommendation, she applied for a position as a prosecutor in the New York family court system. It was there that her legendary legal career began. Judy quickly built a reputation as a fearless advocate for justice. Her bold, direct approach caught the attention of New York City Mayor Ed Koch, who appointed her as a criminal court judge in 1982. Just 4 years later, she was promoted to supervising judge of Manhattan's family court division. Rising to fame, Judy Sheindlin's tough love and courtroom candor drew mixed reactions. Some called her harsh, while others saw her as a necessary force in a system bogged down by red tape. One thing was certain: she stood out. That uniqueness caught the attention of journalist Josh Getlin, whose wife Heidi had recommended Judy as a story. Getlin's feature in the Los Angeles Times described her as a judge on a mission to reform the system for everyday people. The article gained national traction, and soon after, producers Kay Switzer and Sandy Spreckman from Rebel Entertainment took notice. They pitched Judy to CBS, which led to her being featured in a 60-minute segment. The audience response was electric. Judy's sharp-tongued wisdom and fiery delivery turned her into a household name overnight. The birth of Judge Judy in 1996. Riding the wave of newfound fame, Judy retired from her role as a family court judge after overseeing more than 20,000 cases. That same year, she published her first book, Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining, and premiered her courtroom show, Judge Judy. The rest is television history. The show quickly became the gold standard of courtroom reality TV, airing for 25 years and becoming the highest-rated program in daytime television. Judy earned a reputation as the queen of daytime courtrooms and one of the UHE highest-paid personalities on television. Where is Judge Judy now? After Judge Judy concluded in 2021, many assumed she had retired for good. But Judy wasn't done yet. She returned with a new streaming series, Judy Justice, on Amazon's Freevee platform. The show brings a modern twist to her classic formula, with a new courtroom, new staff, including her granddaughter, and the same iconic attitude. Today, Judy Sheindlin continues to break boundaries. Not only has she successfully transitioned to the streaming world, but she's also created opportunities for the next generation of legal and television talent. From courtrooms to streaming screens, Judge Judy has never stopped evolving. And as it turns out, her next chapter might just be her boldest yet. What most people didn't know at the time was that, though Judge Judy Sheindlin's resignation from the family court bench wasn't just about retirement, it was strategic. After her magnetic performance on CBS's 60 Minutes, audiences were hooked. How? They wanted more of the sharp-tongued, no-nonsense judge who wasn't afraid to say exactly what she thought. That reaction didn't go unnoticed. Rebel Entertainment, a talent management company, quickly saw potential. They began developing a court show concept inspired by the People's Court, only this time the spotlight would belong to one woman, Judge Judy. CBS loved the idea and offered Judy the role. She accepted, and something didn't feel right. Missing piece: a bailiff with chemistry from the start. Judy struggled with the show's early setup, especially her lack of connection with the original bailiff. The dynamic wasn't working, the spark wasn't there. Judy knew better than anyone that chemistry was everything then. She remembered someone back in 1995. A man named Petrie Hawkins Bird had read a news article about Judy's new book, Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining. Inspired by her boldness, Bird, who had once worked with Judy as a court officer in New York, wrote her a heartfelt letter. In it, he said if she ever needed a bailiff for her new show, he'd be honored to put on the uniform again. So, she called him. The moment Bird picked up the phone, he already knew what his answer would be. Before she could even finish asking, he said yes. That phone call changed television history. The birth of a courtroom legend, with Bird at her side. Judge Judy officially came to life. Their chemistry was instant and unforgettable. Bird became the calm, composed counterbalance to Judy's fiery presence. He wasn't just a background figure. He became an essential part of the show's identity. He kept order when litigants got rowdy, delivered the iconic all rise before each case, and never let emotions interfere with duty. Audiences loved him, and they loved Judy even more, with him beside her, together. They didn't just make a good show, they created a cultural juggernaut, a pop culture phenomenon at its peak. Judge Judy drew in a staggering 9 to 10 million viewers every single day. The show was so wildly popular that at one point, it even beat the Oprah Winfrey Show in ratings, nearly impossible feat in daytime TV. By the early 2000s, Judge Judy wasn't just a hit show, it was a national institution. In fact, a poll once revealed that Americans trusted Judge Judy more than they did the entire U.S. Supreme Court. And it didn't stop there. Judy became a pop culture icon. Her image, voice, and catchphrases appeared in everything from late-night comedy to cartoons. Shows that wanted a ratings boost would reference her. Viewers weren't just watching for legal drama, they were watching for Judy. The awards snub, but even with all the ratings, love, and influence, Judge Judy wasn't winning any Emmy Awards. Year after year, the show was nominated but went home empty-handed. Meanwhile, Judy herself was being celebrated with honors, including a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2006, induction into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame in 2012, an honorary award from the UCD Law Society in 2013, yet something still gnawed at her. Why hadn't her show been recognized? Judy consoled herself with a harsh irony. Most shows that won Emmys ended soon after. Judge Judy, on the other hand, showed no signs of slowing down. The breakthrough moment finally. In 2013, after 15 nominations, Judge Judy won its very first Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. It was a turning point. From that moment on, the show's critical recognition caught up with its massive fan base, and the awards kept coming. From a New York family court to becoming one of television's most beloved figures, Judge Judy built an empire with honesty, grit, and undeniable charisma. But her story doesn't end there. Because while fame came easily, some of her deepest conflicts, including a falling out with Bird, were still to come. Judge Judy wasn't just popular, it was unstoppable. After finally breaking through with a Daytime Emmy win in 2013, the show went on to win again in 2016 and 2017, cementing its place in television history. Judy Sheindlin herself continued collecting accolades, including the prestigious Mary Pickford Award from the Hollywood Chamber Community Foundation at the 2014 Heroes of Hollywood event. But perhaps Judy's most significant recognition came not from an award show but from the record books. A judge like no other. On September 14, 2015, Judge Judy earned 2 Guinness World Records, one for being the longest-serving television courtroom judge, and the other for presiding over the longest-running courtroom series in history. It was official. No one had done it longer or bigger, yet beyond the awards. What truly turned heads was her income. By 2005, Judy was making a jaw-dropping $25 million per year, and that number only kept climbing. Her net worth soared to $95 million, making her the 13th richest woman in entertainment, according to Forbes. The price of power, her enormous salary, sparked heated debate. While millions adored her, others questioned whether it was fair for a TV judged to earn more than actual sitting judges working full-time in America's courtrooms. Still, the studio had no complaints. Judy brought in ratings, and ratings brought in revenue. In fact, she was such a valuable asset that by the peak of her career, her salary skyrocketed to $45 million a year. With numbers like that, even Judy couldn't help but enjoy the grind. Despite being physically and emotionally exhausted, she pressed on. The audience remained loyal, and the studio kept cashing in. Why fans loved her? What made Judge Judy so addictive? It wasn't just the courtroom setting, it was Judy herself. Viewers saw her as a symbol of real justice, fast, fair, and final. Her decades of experience in family court allowed her to spot lies from miles away. Many fans even dubbed her a human lie detector. And unlike real courts bogged down by procedures, lawyers, and endless appeals, Judge Judy gave people what they wanted: instant resolution. Judy wasn't afraid to cut through excuses and deliver harsh but honest truth. But not everyone was applauding as the show went on. However, cracks began to appear. Longtime fans began noticing a shift. Judy was becoming harsher, less patient, and more dismissive, especially towards certain litigants. Critics accused her of interrupting, prejudging, and even discriminating against people from low-income backgrounds, or those on public assistance. Some went as far as to question whether her conduct was ethical, asking, could Judge Judy be disbarred? Be clear, Judy wasn't practicing law on the show. She was serving as a TV arbitrator, not a courtroom judge. But the criticism still stung, and it grew louder with each passing season. Behind the scenes, a relentless machine. What many didn't know was that Judy was battling more than critics. She was battling burnout. The production schedule was grueling. Because the show was so profitable for the studio and herself, Judy rarely took breaks. And there was another reason she couldn't afford to slow down: the show's unique setup. Litigants on Judge Judy weren't just randomly picked. They were paid to appear, depending on how long they stayed on camera or the drama of their case. Participants could earn anywhere from $100 to $500. On top of that, the show covered their travel expenses, provided Hollywood accommodations, and even paid the judgment amounts, so defendants never had to pay out of pocket. In effect, everyone who appeared was getting a free trip and a paycheck. This led to a new kind of controversy. Some litigants were allegedly fabricating disputes just to get on the show. Fake cases, exaggerated drama, and scripted confrontations became part of the behind-the-scenes ecosystem. Judge Judy had become a billion-dollar brand, but at what cost? As the years passed, her sharp edge, once celebrated, became a double-edged sword. Praise and backlash danced hand in hand, and the empire she built began to show signs of strain. But the real turning point, the one that changed everything, was still to come. As the Judge Judy brand soared, so did the criticism. Many detractors began to accuse the show of prioritizing drama over authenticity. With a steady stream of litigants and a relentless filming schedule, Judy had no time to rest emotionally or physically. By 2010, the pressure had taken its toll. Judy quietly considered retirement. Current contract was set to expire in 2014, and she hinted that once it did, she might step away from the bench for good. But fate had other plans. The collapse that changed everything on March 30, 2011, Judy arrived on set pushing through what felt like just another exhausting day. She was unusually tired, but like always, she carried on with strength and resolve. The cameras rolled. The bailiff called the next case. Judy listened to the litigants. Then suddenly, everything went black. Judge Judy collapsed mid-filming. She was rushed to the hospital where doctors discovered she had suffered a mini-stroke. It was a wake-up call, one that would have made most people slow down, not Judy. Instead of retiring, she extended her contract that same year, and with it came a massive pay raise, making her the highest-paid personality on television. From triumph to trouble, the hot bench backfire in 2014. Judy launched her own courtroom spin-off, Hot Bench, featuring a panel of 3 judges delivering verdicts together. Show performed well, but it also planted the seeds of a major legal mess. At the time, things seemed perfect. She was at the top of her game, and in 2017, she signed yet another contract extension that would take Judge Judy through its 25th season. Ending in 2021, that deal alone brought her $147 million in pre-tax earnings, but with that massive payout came even bigger problems. The lawsuit that rocked the courtroom queen while Judy publicly claimed she had no plans to retire anytime soon, stating that she'd only quit when audiences lost interest. She was quietly working on something new. Behind the scenes, a secret project, a new vision. But she wasn't ready to share it, not yet. Then, in March 2020, while appearing on the Ellen DeGeneres show, Judy finally made the announcement that fans had long dreaded. The show would end after its 25th season, but the final chapter of Judge Judy wasn't the graceful send-off she had hoped for. Behind the cameras, a storm was brewing. Enter Rebel Entertainment. Friends turned foes in 2016. Rebel Entertainment Partners, Inc. and its president Richard Lawrence filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against CBS television distribution. Rebel claimed that it was their former employees, including Kay Switzer, who introduced Judy to CBS in the first place. Now, they alleged CBS was cheating them out of profits by overpaying Judy to the point that CBS supposedly couldn't afford to pay Rebel their rightful share. Even worse, Rebel accused Judy and CBS of deliberately hiding spin-offs like Hot Bench to avoid profit-sharing obligations for a woman known for delivering justice. This was an unexpected twist. Judy herself was being accused of unfairness. Judy fires back. Judge Judy wasn't about to take the heat quietly. She fiercely defended herself, calling Richard Lawrence greedy and ungrateful. She argued that he had already received over $17 million in earnings from the show, and hadn't even reached out to her personally in decades. She didn't hold back, saying, "I was the one bringing value to CBS. I was the reason the show thrived. That's why I got paid." It was a bold defense, and it worked. In 2018, court sided with Judy. It ruled that she had not been overpaid, and that she was indeed a valuable asset to CBS. The show's profits, her salary, and her contracts were all legitimate. But that didn't mean she walked away unscathed. The fallout, though, she won in court. The damage to her reputation lingered in some circles. Questions around greed, fairness, and ego continued to shadow the final seasons of Judge Judy. And while she was still a ratings titan, something had changed. The courtroom queen had survived another legal war, but behind the gavel, the landscape was shifting. A new era was approaching, and Judy was preparing for her boldest reinvention yet. You might think that after decades of dominating daytime television, Judge Judy would enjoy a peaceful exit. But the real courtroom drama wasn't on TV. It was happening behind the scenes. It was far from over. After winning a major legal victory in 2018, Judge Judy and CBS could breathe a sigh of relief. Or so they thought. The court's catch, and a twist no one saw coming. Although the court ruled that Judy wasn't overpaid, it did reprimand both her and CBS for failing to notify Rebel Entertainment about any spin-off ventures, like Hot Bench. That small detail gave Rebel a new angle and a second wind. Rebel Entertainment and its president, Richard Lawrence, weren't done. They appealed the decision, determined to squeeze more from what they believed was their rightful share. But CBS, after airing fictional legal battles for decades, was now in the middle of a very real one, and they were tired of it. So in 2020, CBS approached Rebel with a settlement deal to end the legal chaos. Rebel, sensing an opportunity, pushed for another lawsuit instead. This time, they added Judge Judy herself as a defendant. The queen of the court strikes back. Judy had had enough. She refused to cut any deal with Rebel. Instead, she fired back with a $22 million countersuit accusing Rebel of unfair business practices. She was ready for war, but there was a complication. The court ruled that in order for her countersuit to move forward, Judy would have to also sue CBS, her longtime partner, at a company that had made her a household name. She was at a crossroads. Would she choose the money or her loyalty? Judge Judy chose loyalty, and with that decision, she lost her case. But she didn't care. In the end, the California Court of Appeal upheld the original ruling. CBS had honored its contract with Rebel. They had paid everything they were supposed to, exactly as agreed. No foul play, no breach. The truth behind the paychecks. Ironically, court documents revealed something many fans didn't know. Judy herself was the one negotiating salary increases every 3 years. Despite feeling overwhelmed at times, she continuously pushed for more work and more money. She had built her empire and maintained it through grit, negotiation, and relentless ambition. But just when she thought the storm had passed, another legal battle emerged. Old friends, new enemies, and yet another twist. Jay Robinson, trustee for Judy's former associates, Kay Switzer and Sandy Spreckman, filed a lawsuit against Judy, CBS Corporation, CBS Studios, and Big Ticket Television. They claimed that since Kay and Sandy were the ones who discovered Judy and introduced her to CBS, their estates were owed royalties and compensation. They argued, without them, there would be no Judge Judy. It wasn't their first attempt. Judy had faced similar claims before. This time, she brushed it off completely. She labeled the case background noise. And that's exactly what it became. The court found no merit in the case and threw it out in 20-1. The cutlery controversy. But even that wasn't the end. In March 2013, yet another bizarre lawsuit emerged, this one from Patrice Jones, the wife of Judge Judy's executive producer, Randy Dufett. Patrice accused Judy of conspiring with her husband to illegally purchase expensive cutlery and fine china that she claimed belonged to her. It became messy and personal. To avoid further drama, Judy simply returned the items to Randy, who in turn gave them back to his wife. Case closed. Final judgment through all the millions of dollars, legal chaos and personal betrayal. Judge Judy stood firm. The woman known for her sharp wit and fierce decisions in court brought that same intensity to her real-life battles. And even though the courtroom queen faced accusations, betrayals, and lawsuits that could rattle any titan, she never blinked. Because to Judge Judy, loyalty mattered more than money. And when all was said and done, her legacy stood tall, unsilenced, undefeated, and unapologetically Judy. Even after decades of courtroom dominance and countless legal victories, Judge Judy's fight wasn't over. Her journey included more lawsuits, surprising betrayals, and a dramatic reinvention that almost cost her the loyalty of her biggest fans. The Unauthorized ad scandal. In March 2014, Judge Judy faced yet another legal showdown, this time with a lawyer named John Heyman. Heyman had used Judy's image in a series of television ads, giving viewers the false impression that the legendary judge had personally endorsed his law firm. When a producer from Judge Judy saw the ads, they contacted Heyman immediately, warning him to cease and desist. But he didn't stop. Judy wasn't about to let it slide. She filed a lawsuit, accusing Heyman and his firm of exploiting her image. Without permission, a clear violation of her rights and reputation. But Heyman wasn't backing down. He countersued, claiming that local TV stations had invited him to appear in promos to help promote the Judge Judy show. According to him, he was just playing along. The court wasn't convinced. As the pressure mounted, Heyman realized he was about to lose. He approached Judy, and in a surprising turn, donated to her charity in exchange for withdrawing the lawsuit. The case was closed, but it was a clear reminder: never underestimate Judy Sheindlin. Judge Judy ends, but Judy Justice begins. When Judge Judy ended its legendary run, fans assumed Judy would retire and enjoy her time with grandchildren. They were wrong. Judy had no intention of slowing down. She was already working on her next project, a show that would bridge generations, connect with younger audiences, and redefine courtroom television. She called it Judy Justice, and this time, she was bringing family into the picture. Her granddaughter, Sarah Rose, joined the show as a legal clerk, symbolizing the new era of justice Judy was building. But that wasn't the only major change. Not all of them were well received. The heartbreaking exit of bailiff Bird for 25 years. Petrie Hawkins' Bird, known to fans simply as Bird, stood faithfully by Judy's side as her no-nonsense bailiff. He was part of the show's identity, beloved by fans around the world. But when Judy launched Judy Justice, Bird was not invited back. When he reached out to her team to ask why, he was told that they couldn't afford his salary. Bird was stunned. After everything they'd shared on screen, he hadn't even been consulted. To make matters worse, fans remembered past snubs. At the first Emmy Awards, the show won. Bird was seated 20 rows behind Judy. She even let someone else accept the award on her behalf, ignoring Bird's contribution entirely. Still, Bird never complained publicly, till now. And when fans realized Judy had cut him out, they were furious. Backlash and redemption, the backlash was swift and loud. Loyal viewers flooded social media, criticizing Judy for leaving behind someone who had been so essential to the success of Judge Judy. That's when the real reason emerged. Judy had wanted younger faces to attract a newer generation of viewers. But in doing so, she nearly alienated her most loyal fan base. Realizing her mistake, Judy extended an olive branch, but not in the way fans expected. She didn't bring Bird back to Judy Justice. Instead, she gave him a new role in her next spin-off series, Tribunal Justice, a courtroom show with a panel of judges, offering Bird a chance to return to the spotlight. It was a compromise, but one that showed Judy still had respect for the man who stood beside her, if for decades. Where is Judge Judy now? Today, Judge Judy has reinvented herself once again as the star of Judy Justice. She's not just relevant, she's bigger than ever, with her granddaughter by her side. A new cast and an audience that spans generations. She's proven that you can age without fading and evolve without losing your edge. From legal titan to pop culture icon, Judy Sheindlin remains one of the most influential and unstoppable women in television history. She's no longer just Judge Judy. She's Judy Justice.